today I'm going to share an exciting recipe with you, Bombay Karachi Halwa, with its signature soft, chewy and stretchy texture. And did I nail it? Yes, I did! It is a little tricky though, there is surely a technique to this. So if you want a step-by-step detailed tutorial of how to make Halwai style Karachi Halwa, you are at the right place, my friend. Alright then, let's get started. This Karachi Halwa I made with fresh watermelon juice, so there are no artificial colors or flavors added. But if you would like to make it without watermelon juice, the same technique applies. So keep watching. Okay, let's make watermelon juice first. Take around 600 grams of watermelon pieces and add it to a blender jar. Roughly chop them. These little white seeds are alright, but try to remove the big black seeds as much as you can. Don't worry if you can't remove all the black seeds, we are going to strain the watermelon juice anyway. Blend the pieces thoroughly. And strain the juice. Most of the pulp remaining are the seeds. You can discard that. We want to get around 2 cups of watermelon juice from here. So let's measure it. And yes, it's exactly 2 cups. The measurements in this recipe are really important. So if you get less than 2 cups of watermelon juice, add enough water to make it up to 2 cups. Alright, let's take a look at the other ingredients. We need 4 tablespoons or 30 grams of cornstarch, 1 cup or 200 grams of white granulated sugar, 1/4 cup of chopped nuts, I used cashew nuts and pistachios, half a tablespoon of fresh lime juice, which is around 7.5 milliliters, 3 tablespoons of ghee, a pinch of salt, half a cup or approximately 120 ml of water. First, we'll add the water into the cornstarch. Mix it well to form a completely lump-free slurry. Cornstarch tends to stick to the bottom of the bowl, but eventually it mixes really well. Alright, set that aside. Next, grease a flat bowl or tray thoroughly with ghee. This is going to be the mold for the Karachi Halwa. I'm using an approximately 7 by 7 inch Pyrex dish. Alright, we are ready to start cooking. For this recipe, you absolutely need to take a non-stick pot. If not, you're going to end up in a sticky mess. Set the pot on medium heat and add in 1 cup of the watermelon juice. To this, add 1 cup of sugar and also add a pinch of salt. 1/4 teaspoon of green cardamom powder is an optional ingredient. I like how it tastes with watermelon, but it's up to you. Now add half a tablespoon of fresh lime juice. Fresh lime juice is really essential because it prevents the sugar from crystallizing once the halwa cools down. Keep stirring until all the sugar dissolves. Even if you are tempted, don't reduce the amount of sugar in this recipe. You're not going to get that stretchy texture if you do. Believe me, I've spent so many trial rounds to get to this perfect recipe. I know exactly what you shouldn't do. To hear all about it, watch the video right till the end. Okay, getting back to the recipe. Once the sugar dissolves, turn down the heat to as low as possible and then add the remaining 1 cup of watermelon juice. The addition of this watermelon juice helps to lower the temperature of the sugar solution so that the cornstarch doesn't clump as soon as we add it. Give the cornstarch slurry a good mix before adding it into the watermelon juice through a strainer. Again, make sure to turn down the heat to as low as possible. Your Karachi Halwa will have the best texture if the cornstarch thickens slowly over low heat. It's going to take 1 full hour to make this. Don't turn up the heat and speed up the process. Okay, so I've been stirring for 5 minutes on low heat and the solution still looks like this milky orange color. Okay, after 15 minutes of stirring, I would call this the soupy stage, like, you know, this tomato soup kind of consistency, and the color starts to turn more translucent. At this point, you can add in 1 tablespoon of ghee. The ghee is going to get nicely incorporated into the paste as you keep stirring. Alright, after 25 minutes, I would call this the ketchup-y stage. Doesn't it look like tomato ketchup? It totally does, yeah. I'm getting some good hand exercise with all this stirring. Alright, after 35 minutes of cooking, we are at the jam stage. Doesn't it look like a thick jam? At this point, we'll add in our 2nd tablespoon of ghee. Since the cornstarch is getting thicker and thicker, the ghee prevents it from clumping and sticking to the base of the pot. Let me take a little bit out and let me cool it down quickly to show you what the texture looks like at this point. It feels sticky and a lot like jelly, but it's nowhere close to being done. Let's keep on stirring. Alright, after 45 minutes of stirring, it's gotten even more thick. How should I describe this? That red Colgate toothpaste? No, I don't know. Quickly add in the last tablespoon of ghee so nothing sticks to the pot. During my trial rounds of this recipe, I tried adding all the ghee in the beginning or all the ghee in the end, but this stage-wise adding of ghee turned out the best. Okay, I'm going to take out some more, cool it down and show you how the texture looks at this point. As you can tell, it's taking longer to come off of the spatula. It's a lot stickier. Once it's cooled down, I'm able to pick it up in one piece and it's sticky and starting to look a lot like Karachi Halwa. Let's keep going. So after 55 minutes of stirring, the recipe is almost done and it's time to add in the chopped nuts. I'm saving a little bit for garnish. Stir the nuts in thoroughly. The whole paste is going to feel like a big blob of gel at this point. Okay, let me take out some and let's see how it looks at this point. Let's see if it's nicely stretchy. Yeah, yes. This is how it should look. So we are almost done. Now the last 5 minutes is really important. The sugar has nicely caramelized and formed these stretchy strands. So keep vigorously stirring so that the strands get even more stretchier. Or keep doing it till your right hand looks like that. See, it's all red. You'll be sure that the recipe is all done when you're able to pick up the gel and fold it layer on layer just like that. Now, perfectly done. And let's get our mold ready. The halwa should slide out really easily. Take a spoon, apply some ghee on the back of the spoon and level the surface of the halwa. Garnish with the leftover chopped nuts. Doesn't it look nice? Oh my god, this is so much effort, but it's all worth it. Press the garnish in so it doesn't all fall out when you turn the halwa over. Now a very important point is to let the halwa cool at room temperature for at least 2 to 3 hours before you cut it. Don't cool it down in the refrigerator. I did that and it ended up looking like a wet sponge. I'm telling you. Okay, as I said, watch till the end of the video. I'm going to tell you everything about my disastrous trial rounds. Okay, it's been 3 hours and the halwa has solidified nicely. Run a knife along the rim of the halwa to try to loosen it from the walls of the bowl and turn the bowl over. Okay, let's see if it comes out. No, okay, won't budge. It's pretty sticky and elastic, so we need to try to pull it away from the walls a little more. Don't worry, it's not going to spoil the shape of your halwa. It's going to spring right back. Let's try it this time. Please work. Yeah. Okay. Good. I'm holding my trophy in my hands. All the efforts of my hard work look so good. If you want to make the cutting process easy, do grease your knife with some ghee. Can you feel the resistance? That perfectly rubbery texture? If it cuts through super easily, you know that the halwa is not made right. So this is the thing about this recipe. You can make it in 5 minutes because cornstarch thickens so fast, or you can make it in 1 hour and let the sugar caramelize and become stretchy. Only then it's going to work. and you will get this beautifully stretchy, ah my goodness, delicious sweet. Make this recipe, I'm telling you, it's a great recipe to show off your culinary skills. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give me a thumbs up and share this recipe with your friends. The more you like, comment and share, the more YouTube will show this to new people, and you, my friend, will help me grow my channel and make my effort all worth it. Okay, so it feels and tastes exactly like Halwai style Karachi Halwa, but we have to make it look like one. Let's wrap it up in some cling wrap, and there you go. Another interesting point is that once the halwa has solidified at room temperature, you can store it in the fridge if you'd like. Let me show you. This is the halwa that I stored at room temperature for 24 hours. You can see it's nice and stretchy. And on the other hand, this is the halwa that I stored in the fridge for 24 hours, and you can see that this is also nice and stretchy. Okay, now as promised, I'm going to share all my disastrous trial round failures with you. The first mistake I did was to not use a non-stick pot. Oh my goodness, all the cornstarch stuck to the pot and I wanted to scream. So please take a non-stick pot. The second mistake I did was to use half the amount of sugar. As tempting as it sounds to use less sugar, don't do it. It's just not going to give you that stretchy texture from caramelized sugar. It can taste like a nice jello or jelly. If your kids like that or you like that, sure, do it, but it's not going to be Karachi Halwa. The next blunder I did was cooking this over medium heat rather than low heat. The cornstarch started clumping and it cooked really fast. I was thrilled that I did it so quickly, but it tasted like jello again. And the last big mistake I did was to let the halwa solidify in the refrigerator instead of room temperature. I am not kidding, it did taste like a wet sponge. It's not at all good. You can totally refrigerate the halwa after it has solidified at room temperature. That's going to be totally fine. I hope this tutorial was fun and helpful. Make the best Karachi halwa of your life, and don't forget to let me know how it turned out. Growing up, we used to spend all our summer vacations in Kolkata, and I remember eating two types of Rosogollas. One was a spongy and airy and slightly chewy type, and the second one was a super soft, velvety, melt-in-the-mouth Rosogolla that we ate at Grandma's place. So it's obviously closer to my heart. And in today's video, I'm going to share detailed recipes of how you can make both these different types of Rosogollas. Let's get started. We will start by making soft paneer or chana. For this, we will need 1 liter of full fat or whole milk, and we will need approximately 4 tablespoons of fresh lime juice or vinegar. We will dilute the lime juice or vinegar with equal amount of water and set that aside. Set a pot on medium heat and wait until the milk starts to simmer. While the milk heats up, make sure to stir and scrape the bottom of the pot from time to time so that the milk doesn't burn. I'm telling you that burnt flavor in milk cannot be covered up with any flavoring. Maybe coffee, I don't know, but try not to burn the milk. Once the milk starts to simmer, we'll turn off the heat and add the diluted lime juice or vinegar 1 tablespoon at a time. Also, we'll make sure to barely stir the milk at this point. As you keep adding lime juice, you'll see at some point it's going to form paneer. Don't stir it vigorously. What happens is that the paneer breaks up into smaller pieces and it becomes a little grainy. We want super soft paneer for our Rosogollas or Rasgullas. And this is the trick to do it. So I used approximately 4 tablespoons, and you can see that the chana and the whey have separated. Now we are going to place any absorbent cloth on a strainer and drain the paneer. The leftover whey water has a lot of protein and nutrients, so don't discard that. I have posted some recipes that use leftover whey water. You can check those out, or just make rice or roti with it and use it up. Why waste, right? Next, we want to wash the chana with 2 cups of water because we want to take out any lingering smell of lime or vinegar. We don't want vinegar lime flavored Rosogollas, do we? Next, we will bundle up the paneer and we will lightly squeeze it just a couple of times to take out excess water, but don't squeeze it too much, if not the paneer gets too dry. And next, we are going to hang it and let the rest of the water automatically drip for approximately 30 minutes. The texture of the chana is very important. It should neither be too dry nor too moist, just slightly moist. If the chana feels too moist, you can quickly wrap it up in a paper towel for a couple of minutes. I use that trick and it works. If it's too dry, your Rosogollas will be dry. Can't help that. I just divided the paneer into 2 halves for the 2 different types of Rosogollas and covered up one of them with a damp paper towel. So let's talk about how we should knead the paneer for the sponge Rosogollas first. The paneer feels perfect, just slightly moist, and to that I'm going to add 1 drop of rose flavoring. This subtle rose flavor tastes amazing in Rosogollas. Now we are going to start kneading the paneer. You could knead with either the base of your palm like that, or you can knead with your fingers. It doesn't really matter. I tried both. The main thing is that you have to knead till the paneer becomes soft and there are no grains remaining, but you should not over knead it, because over kneading will make the paneer greasy, like it's going to make the ghee separate from it. We don't want that. So this is the texture we are going for. It breaks easily and it's soft and not grainy anymore. It takes approximately 4 to 5 minutes to knead the paneer. Now I'm dividing this into 6 different pieces for 6 different Rosogollas. Keep in mind that this amount of paneer is from approximately half a liter of milk, because we had divided the paneer into 2 for the 2 different Rosogollas. When you make the paneer balls, make sure that they are smooth and crack-free as much as you can. Cover it with a damp paper towel, and now let's work on the paneer for the soft Rosogollas. Just like we did before, also for these Rosogollas, we want to add just a drop of rose essence. In addition, we'll add half a teaspoon of white granulated sugar, half a teaspoon of all-purpose flour or maida, and half a teaspoon of semolina or suji. And this is the main difference between the 2 types of Rosogollas. The rest of the steps of how to cook it in the sugar syrup is all the same. So I kneaded the chana just like how we did it before. There. And again, I'm going to divide it into 6 pieces for 6 different Rosogollas. I should have used 2 liters of milk. 6 Rosogollas is going to be eaten up in no time. That's too bad. And our next step is to make the sugar syrup. We need half a cup or 100 grams of white granulated sugar, to which we are going to add 2.5 cups of water. It's basically a 1:5 sugar to water ratio. To this, we'll add 2 green cardamom pods and we'll bring the sugar solution up to a boil. Instead of adding rose essence to the paneer, you can also add a couple of drops to the sugar solution instead. Up to you. Sometimes the dirt from the sugar collects as some foam, so take that out with a spoon. If the sugar is very dirty, you can add a splash of milk and clarify it. Next, I've taken half a teaspoon of maida or all-purpose flour, to which I added 1 tablespoon of water and made a slurry. We add this slurry into the sugar solution to make it nice and foamy. The temperature of the pot should be on high heat, and when the sugar solution is vigorously boiling, put in the Rasgulla balls and cover it up with a lid. Very soon you're going to see that there is going to be a lot of foam formation because of that slurry that we added. See, at this point, just tilt the lid a little bit so we don't have a sugar syrup waterfall on your counter. But we want to make sure that the Rasgullas always cook in foam. And just like that, we want to cook them on high heat in foam for the first 10 minutes. Do not open the lid completely. The foam that covers the Rasgulla makes sure that it is cooked evenly from all sides and they turn out to be nice and round and soft. It's been 10 minutes, so let's take a peek. See how beautifully puffed up they are? At this point, you want to reduce the heat to medium-high and cook for 15 minutes. Every 5 minutes, we'll open the lid and gently flip the Rasgullas. They've puffed up even more. Oh my goodness, how good that looks! Now I'm adding a couple of tablespoons of boiling hot water so that my sugar syrup thins out again. After all this boiling, the sugar syrup gets a little thick, and if it gets thick, your Rasgullas will turn dense. So make sure from time to time, add a little bit hot water so that the sugar solution is always of watery consistency. If I would have used a bigger pot, I probably would not have had to babysit that lid so much to make sure the foam doesn't come out and everything, so use a bigger pot. But I guess for making Rasgullas, any amount of effort is worth it. And we are done. Turn off the heat and let it cool off completely. That's how the spongy Rasgullas look, and that's how the soft Rasgullas look. We are going to transfer them to another bowl, and we are going to try not to eat them for 2 hours at least, because believe me, it's going to get better with time. What's very important is to make sure that the sugar syrup is of watery, thin consistency. If not, you can add some room temperature water in to thin it out. Let's take a look at what we just made. Spongy ones, soft ones. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me show you in detail. You can see that the spongy ones have a lot of little cracks and air pockets, and they maintain their shape even when they are out of the sugar syrup. They are that spongy. You will love it. And now my favorite ones, the soft Rasgullas, have a beautiful velvety and glossy texture, and they melt in your mouth. It is so difficult for me to edit these videos because obviously the Rasgullas are all eaten and now I want to eat more. Yum. I can't wait for you to try these. Most important part, after 24 hours at room temperature, the spongy Rasgullas stay exactly the same, nice and spongy. And this is after refrigerating it for 24 hours. It is still the same texture. And the same for the soft ones. At room temperature or in the refrigerator, the texture remains the same. And that surely means that this recipe is really good. So the most important difference between the two Rasgullas is basically that the soft ones have some additional things that's added to the paneer. Other than that, the common tips that we have to follow is that firstly, the paneer has to be super soft. Secondly, the paneer should not be too moist or too dry. Thirdly, the Rasgullas should cook in foam. And lastly, make sure to keep adding some hot water to the sugar syrup so it remains as a watery consistency, especially when the Rasgullas are done cooking. You can add a little bit water to the sugar syrup so it turns nice and thin. That's it. You follow these and you are going to end up with the best Rasgullas of your life. You would not have to go to a store, I promise. So that is all for today, my dear friends. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do subscribe to my channel because I post exciting recipes like this every week, and press the bell icon because the next recipe should come straight to you, right? If you're on any of these different social media sites, I would be waiting to say hello. And if you would like written recipes, I have a blog. You can visit that. All the links are in the description. Bye-bye.